Greetings, curious, concerned, simple visitors, or fellow subscribers or followers. This is Director Brian, and welcome to the resolution of 2026. It's that time of year again, the time where I talk a little bit about what's been going on with me recently, including reflecting on the previous year, while also discussing what my plans currently are for the foreseeable future. And to say there's not going to be a lot to talk about would be both an understatement and a bit of a lie as well, because there's definitely some things I have to talk about here. And if you're expecting any projects, whether they be things I'm currently working on or even things that I have planned that haven't announced yet, you probably aren't going to find that here. And later down, you're going to understand why. There's going to be a lot of changes going on, but, one step at a time. I decided to be a little bit more laid back. I didn't write a script for this resolution video and just figured it would be a little different, a little bit of a change of pace for me to just kind of go with the flow at this one and just kind of go over my talking points and my notes and just try to go down the list one by one and just kind of emphasize the different approach that I'm taking towards. I don't want to say content creation. I don't like to refer to my videos as just content. I always like to have a little bit more value to them by comparison to just how most people usually refer to it as, because it just kind of implies that it's just like all about consumption. It's all about like people just jumping in on these things just because, it's part of their usual routine. Like they do what they usually do throughout the day, and they come home, they watch videos, and then they go to sleep, and then they move on to their next day. I usually like to think that there's just a bit more to my videos than that. And maybe that's just me being a bit of a, just really being passionate about my work, especially more recently, because I feel like I'm actually appreciating myself a little bit more in regards to the effort that I put into my work and just like how much it means to me personally, because I know it also means a lot to other people as well. But I've been finding more reason to kind of like look at it from a new lens on my end and just really see how much it means to me. Because I've always relied on that whole, like, I guess, selflessness perspective for the longest time of, I create for you, not for me, but I just kind of feel that there's just so much flaws with that statement over the previous years, and, recently changing that, like, actually not even recently, it was like, 4 years ago at this point? Like, 3.5, I guess, I don't know. It was around that time when I, came back from my hiatus from Gmod and changed my motto to I create for everyone, myself included, because the one thing that's always kind of stuck with me for the longest time is that if I don't enjoy making what I make, then why am I even doing it in the first place? Because if I was just doing it for everyone else, surely there's going to come a point in time where that mentality kind of sticks in, and where for whatever reason there were to come a time where people would, I guess, losing interest, or the YouTube algorithm were to completely stop recommending me, then all interest, or just like interest in general, would just start slowly but surely fading away, and then I would start shifting away from, what I enjoyed so much about this whole passion of mine, because that's the whole thing behind this channel. Like, ever since I started, it was always a passion for me. I enjoyed making videos. I always enjoyed seeing the kinds of responses that people had for the videos that I did, and I always just enjoyed seeing that, just to know that I was able to put a smile on someone's face. Like, that's never changed since I started doing this, but my perspective shifted a lot as the years went on, and by the time that I had first started my hiatus, I was really starting to try to focus on ways that I could create something not just for other people, but myself as well. And I needed that kind of mentality if I was to ever come back to this. And, sure enough, I did. I started really finding value in my work. And that's another thing, is that while I do enjoy making this stuff, I do have to recognize that making videos is still a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of energy from you, and the more you use, the more it starts to take a toll on you, the more it starts to kind of pull you back from a lot of that enjoyment, especially when you get older, because when more of your time is eaten up by other things, whether it be, proper work, or even just spending time with a bunch of other people that you enjoy their presence with, you start to spend less time on other things as like a as like a hobby, because you know it's something that you would like try to do on the side rather than something that you make a whole priority, making it more of a want rather than a need, basically. I mean, I know at this rate I'm basically just reflecting on, I guess, my time on this platform in general and just how far I've come and just how much has changed, because I started this whole thing when I was young, and to think in just a couple months' time that this channel is going to be like 15 years old, and God, I was I was 14 then. I was 14 when I started this freaking channel, and just like I didn't even know. I just did it so I could comment on videos for a while, because I hated just being the person that watched them. I actually wanted to have some kind of, contributing commentary for just all the cool things that I saw, and just like to be able to share feedback of sorts. And the more channels I started finding, the more I started just being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Or even just trying to, stir my own thing into it. And, like when you're younger, you obviously have a lot more ambitions. Your dreams are a lot bigger, and you have more time for those things. It also feels like you have more time because, it's your prime. Your prime is usually when you're young, and you don't want to waste it. Otherwise, it's going to feel like there's like... it's going to feel like it was worthless. And I know there's also a lot of, circumstances where people don't have that kind of childhood, and it does suck. And I guess in a way, it just kind of makes me feel a little bit privileged of sorts. And yeah, and I do believe that I had a great time growing up, especially when it came down to starting off on YouTube. I didn't even know what the hell I wanted to do at the time. I just threw up MS Paint and made a fucking Sonic OC, and just being like, I just want to make people laugh. And I still remember that, the video's not on the channel anymore, but when I started off, and just like the first dumb freaking video of my Sonic OC doing a shoop-de-whoop, freaking firing my laser at Shadow entering the side of the screen. And that was my introduction. And then, moving on from there, I kind of just, took on ideas from a couple other folks doing, Microsoft Sanders, funny Windows errors, and all that stuff, because I thought it was funny. I wasn't clever at writing back then. I just basically did what everyone was doing. I didn't really know how to write a character like Microsoft Sam, and how, I guess Thunderbirds 101 did it. But, I guess I just, at that time, I wanted to fit in. Because you usually do that when you first start trying to contribute yourself to the internet. You kind of want to fit into different communities and how to really make your impact. And while I didn't really find much in that regard, and I didn't really do much at that time, it was until late 2012 when I started doing Gmod stuff. I was starting to do, I guess, animation stuff, but I didn't really have much of my own. I mean, I was inspired by COD Zombies to make X Adventures. And then later on that year, 2013, I would eventually join the Brony community, and I would have my OC Starblade made. And by that point was when I eventually made Psychopath, my first proper, and to this day, fully completed series. I mean, I guess the Tormented kind of counts as well, but it was the start for me. And, I don't think I would have made it this far without, a lot of the other inspirations that just kind of led me on, whether it be Kitty0706, bless his soul, and even my good chum, the Inverted Shadow, and just so many others. I really found it special to me to be to not only just make something that I felt had some form of substance, as much as I could anyway, because I didn't have that many skills in animation back then. It took time for me to eventually reach that point, whether I was just doing I guess slideshow animations or whatever, and then moving on to a bit more stop motion, and then stop motion helper and proper animation. I learned a lot over the years, and it was something that I really, really enjoyed. But yeah, the more you get older, the more you start to realize just how much time you have and how much you really want to spend when it comes to just about everything, because you never know what you're going to miss when you take things one direction, because you might miss out on something else. For me, I always just like to do animation most of the time with Gmod, and I didn't really spend a lot of time on a lot of other things. Yeah, I would spend time with a couple friends here and there online, but when it came down to games and so on. Like, I play a couple every now and then, but I always found more joy and passion in animating than anything else. And I still appreciate those days. I still love those days, and I wish I could go back to have that same level of energy. But I mean, what can you do? And I mean, I'm not saying all of this and building all this up like something big is going to be revealed at the end. Don't worry. I'm just reflecting. I'm just blabbering on because that's all I ever do. Whenever I think back to the olden days of my YouTube channel, I often like to just think to all these little details and just let them play out in my head, and just like a lot of my ideas really. And my head is already a big space to begin with that gets flooded with thoughts and ideas, and I wish it was nothing more than just that, because man, that would make life so much easier. But unfortunately, things happen, but I'm not going to blabber on about that. That's my own personal stuff, and I'd rather just keep this about like what I like to do here for all you folks. And I have people for that. I have things for that in regards to my own things. So let's just move along and talk about where things are going from this point. So let's talk a little bit about what happened last year, because there were certainly some gaps in between the last year's resolution video and a couple things here and there. In fact, you may not have noticed much on the YouTube side of things, because I actually was putting a couple more uploads onto Vanillo this year. Just like small stuff. Like one of them was based off of intrusive thoughts, or I guess technically overthinking and rumination. And the other one was just a little clip that I did of a audio that I found just on Insta Reels that I decided to animate Undertale and Deltarune characters with. It was a funny little thing. I mean, I'll put the links in the description as well. The only reason it's not on YouTube is because I just didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like having it on there. I kind of wanted to have it on a platform that I felt was a little bit more cozy for me. Kind of like when VidMe used to be around in like 2016, 2017, and I still miss that platform. It was at a time where it felt like, there were other horizons than just what was already available, and I miss VidMe so much. Even if it wasn't, sustainable for itself. That's just how some places are on the internet. But there's newer places nowadays that people can jump onto nowadays. And yeah, if you ever want to find some other stuff that I do and you're not really like that into what's going on YouTube recent days, you can check me out on Vanilla. I'll still do stuff here as well, just not like all the time anyway. But I mean, I did say at the intro to Refresh that there were going to be moments where there was going to be like gaps in between videos, because I'm trying to focus on myself, trying to focus on my own well-being, and just also trying to focus on the other folks around me, because I have friends. I like to spend time with them whenever I can, and honestly, I need to spend more time with them, because the less that I do, it's shown to have a couple of like negative effects. But again, I don't want to jump into that territory. This isn't like make people sappy for Brian time at all. This is God. I'm just rambling so fucking much. I like to let my words flow, but sometimes there are just moments like these where it's like I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. But anyway, yeah. So there's been some gaps, and also I've been a lot more quiet on social media in general. I haven't been active on Blue Sky. I haven't been active on Tumblr that much. And honestly, I feel like I don't necessarily regret doing that, because I kind of needed to make that step away from social media to kind of like really grasp that life just continues to go on. Life continues to go on, sometimes even in a snap. And if you're not paying attention to it, then you're not really like appreciating it for what it really is. And I hadn't done that for the longest time. Even like when I was younger, I would always just go on Twitter all the time and just scroll like endlessly, like no differently than people do nowadays. I doom scrolled before doom scrolling was popular, and even then it was not really fun to do then, and it's not fun to do now. So maybe you could take a little bit of some experience from me. Just try to put down the phone every once in a while. You will thank yourself later, believe me. So aside from that, I did announce a couple things there, including what was it? Fucking Depths of the Archive with that, Warrior Ouija or whatever, and Mr. L, Mr. Yo Soy Luigi, Mamma Mia. And nothing really came out of it from there. And I don't know if anybody really kind of caught on to why nothing had happened with that since then. I mean, y'all saw the friggin' model be used in SMG4, but then again, it wasn't really that long after me and my buddy Como just kind of put it on the Steam Workshop. I'm pretty sure that was like later on in 2024 when that model was used. So I don't even know why I'm talking about it like it was something that happened last year. It was just me saying like, hey, I'm gonna work on it, but it didn't end up happening because I kind of just got trigger happy, like I do with a lot of my projects, and that's what led me to reflect for a little while and to just kind of think back onto like how I've always been approaching projects and videos and how often I talk about them. And this break from social media, and even just like this break from like working on projects as a big major priority, has really helped me kind of prioritize how to set my priorities straight. Because as much as I love doing videos, as much as I love talking about my videos, as much as I love like bringing up all my projects, I have my own spaces for that. I have people to talk to for that kind of thing. And I mean, it's not to say that I want to talk to you guys about it, but my psychology just kind of messes me up whenever I do it all the time, and my trigger happiness gets the best of me, because by the time that I talk about it with everybody else on my channel, then it just kind of feels like all that spark that I had built up for it just kind of vanishes. It just doesn't feel like it has the same energy as it did when I first started working on it. And it's why you didn't hear much about Depths of the Archive following its announcement, following the update for it from Resolution of 2025. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. And I'm not sure what's going to happen for a lot of things, but I can tell you one thing's for sure. Big changes are happening, and I figured I'd just kind of start off with one of the biggest changes going forward. And just to be clear, I did talk about this already in a post that I did, what was it, around May or June or April? I don't even know when I did last year, where I made a post basically saying all these different changes. But I'm talking about it now in a video format because I know that some people probably aren't aware, and I figured it'd just be more efficient to have it here. So from here on forth, I am going to be privatizing my plans for the videos that I make regarding even big projects, small projects, just anything that I am in charge of that I'm working on. I'm going to be keeping most of the progress to myself, and I will only be making any announcements when I have absolute certainty that something is close to being done. So if I'm working on something like I'm just posing this as a hypothetical, refreshed episode 2 as an example. If I'm working on that, I'm probably not going to say anything about it until it's close to completion, and I know it's something that I want to get out there. To like release a trailer for it, and then like that would drop like the release date for when it's going to happen. I'm again just using that as an example because I'm still not certain when I'm going to get back to that, and I won't really talk about when I do get back to that, because ultimately I kind of want to be able to bring back a sense of just like expect the unexpected, so to speak. Because I feel like surprise drops are just like, there's something special about them to me. To like keep people on their toes rather than just keep building something up only for it to eventually get canceled. Which I'm pretty sure is what happened with Depths of the Archive. I'm not saying that it is canceled, because any project that you might be aware of, it's best to assume that they're on the shelf. So that's not to say that Depths of the Archive is canceled, but even if it was, you wouldn't really know it. I wouldn't really be talking about it. It would just be fairly silent. Like, because, I mean, hey, you never know. Like, I could, like, in the back of my head one day say, oh, I'm never going to do this. And then the next day I'm going to be like, at the same time, though, there's these cool ideas, and I don't know, maybe. And it applies to a lot of things, even things that might have happened like a long time ago. I want to leave kind of like an open door for ideas, whether they be stuff that happened years ago or even something that I'm coming up with nowadays. But even then, if it was something new I came up with, you probably wouldn't know until it came out. And that's kind of, again, the whole point of trying to keep you on your toes and surprise you with something that maybe you were expecting to see, or maybe even something you never even thought of. And I kind of like that approach. I like that approach of just letting my mind wander and just kind of letting you guys get to see, just get a better feel of who I am, rather than just like doing something that everybody wants and prioritizing an audience rather than just a community. Because that's what I always like to see a lot of you guys as. You're a community to me. You mean a lot to me, and I've always appreciated your feedback. I've always appreciated the kind words that you've had to say. I've appreciated a lot about you guys over the years, and I don't want to make the impression that I am doing this to kind of step away from that kind of mentality, because I'm not. I love to hear what you guys have to say, and you know, if there is chances where like you're asking for something, I mean, I'm not going to pull out the fan and just be like, look here, this is you. Because I only ever made the fan just because, I only ever made the fan kind of joke at the whole cliche that there are so many people that want one specific thing. Even though I will be perfectly honest, I don't think I ever had one of those in my community. Maybe like very small instances, but I feel like I raised a community that has grown to be patient for whenever I make something new. And there's just something about that feels genuine to me. And that's a big key word that I feel like I've been able to resonate with this year. This has probably been the first year in a long while where I felt genuine with myself, and not like I was trying to force myself into doing things that I didn't want to do. And not to say that anybody out there has tried to do the like pressure to the point where I was forcing myself. Honestly, I feel like the energy I had was more than enough. Like, honestly, I could care less if someone asked for the next part of The Tormented or the next part of Splattenstein. I don't know. Honestly, that kind of energy still resonates with me. It's still genuine for them to want something from me. And I didn't want to see it as anything that was pressuring of the sorts, because, again, I feel like I raised a community that learned to be patient. And, you know, anyone else that just, you know, kind of just, like, went their own way, you know, they're just finding their own things to watch. I think that's genuine, and I think it's fine. I think I could care less if the number of subscribers that I have went below 10K one day. Because it just means that people are moving on. It just means that people are doing their own thing, watching their own thing. And meanwhile, I'm here doing my thing. Even if I'm not as active as I used to be, I could care less. I don't think it matters that much. Because, I mean, it's not like I made money on Refreshed anyway. It's not like I'm making money on my videos anymore anyway either. Because I turned it all off. I'd rather be genuine with, like, wanting to do this, with wanting to follow my passion of making these kinds of videos. I feel that's the most genuine I can be, to show where my priorities are. To myself, anyway. But yeah, this big change that's going to be happening is primarily so like there's no expectations out of necessity, and basically prioritizing my own wants and needs. And again, building an expect the unexpected mindset for both me and for everyone else, and just being like, oh, what's the next thing he's going to be? Because it could be anything. It could literally even be based off of something that you never expected I would be into. Hell, I might not even do something that is, I might even do something where I'm thinking a little outside the box of what I'm usually comfortable making. It could be anything, really. Also, I do want to point this out. Not to, I don't necessarily want to say that this is confirming or denying anything, but just as a little bit of a disclaimer, this isn't going to apply to any collabs that I may not be in charge of, because ultimately, that's their discretion. That's not something I'm in charge of. So if for whatever reason anybody that I know that I may or may not be doing possible collabs with, that if they want to talk about something, that's their discretion, not me. I mean, I'm still not going to say anything until they decide to talk about it, but yeah. I just figured I'd point that out. I know probably my tone isn't doing a good job hiding anything, but suffice to say, we'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot of changes are happening here. And I know that for some this might be a little bit sudden, but I do want to stress that I am still very much locked into doing the things that I love to do. I'm just going at it from a different approach. And given that I am going to be, keeping most of these plans to myself, you're probably thinking more about this now, but this by proxy does mean that this will be the last resolution video that I make. Which is a little jarring for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because I've been doing these things for 11 years. I've been doing these videos for a long time to talk about what my plans were and to just kind of keep up to date with each and all of you folks. Each of them going through their own different iterations, sometimes even through in the form of trailers and stuff like that. Just all structurally designed to just kind of build up hype, and it's gonna feel weird not doing that anymore. It's gonna feel weird just not starting every year or even getting close to the next year and being all right, I gotta get ready for my update video, and being oh yeah, that's right, I don't have to do that anymore. Because I'm taking it easy. I'm not being harsh on myself anymore to get more done. Because I'm actually trying to prioritize my own life and do things as I want to do them and not as I need to do them, because ultimately the internet isn't life. It's just a part of it. And the more you realize that, the more you kind of come to the conclusion that it's just I actually don't need to prioritize making videos. It's not a job. It's not a I don't know, friggin' internship or whatever. I don't fucking know. It's a hobby. And I want to treat it like a hobby again, like it used to be. And I remember there was a time where I treated it like a hobby, and I still was able to do Psychopath and even The Tormented before I started treating it like something I had to keep up with. But the more things started to slow down, the more I realized that it's just something I want to have fun with, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So yeah, this is going to be the last resolution video. And if there is, for whatever reason, going to be an update video, I mean, it's only going to be in circumstances where something is close to being done. I just want to kind of stress that. But resolution videos, as you know them, this is the end of the road. And again, it's going to be a little bit jarring, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm kind of going to miss it. But at the same time, I probably won't, because it's another weight to take off of me. That's the whole thing that I've learned from changing things around this much. I'm putting a lot of weight off of me, a lot of pressure off of me, because I can't treat the internet like it's something that I need to be a part of. Because I really don't. I'm just one person in this world. One person that chose to start being on the internet and making all these videos, ranging from ponies to squid kids to zombies, a bunch of stuff. And it was my decision to start it this way. I took it in different directions and eventually came to realizations that I don't really need to continue doing these things certain ways. I can just be me, do things the way that I need to do them. And some people might be thrown off by them, I know, but it won't stop me from enjoying what I do. I'd rather enjoy what I do. So yeah, that's that. And before I end this off, I do kind of want to also talk about, even though I was kind of taking a break from social media for a little while, I am slowly easing back in there. I am being a little bit more active. So if you do want to keep up to date with me, I mean, I am still on Blue Sky, a little bit more active there. Tumblr, not nearly as much. And when it comes down to other platforms aside from YouTube, I am on Vanillo. I did talk about it during the resolution of 2024 without actually putting my link in there. I was trying to be subtle, but I was trying to be subtle about it, even though I literally could have just put the link there for people to see. But Vanillo is basically another video streaming platform. I joined there when it was first started off in like beta. It's still in like ongoing development, and I'm actually verified on there. I'm actually a verified creator on there, and I think I'm not sure about this completely, but I think I might be the only Gmodder that's on Vanillo as of right now. So not only am I the first Vanillo Gmodder, I am also the first verified Vanillo Gmodder. So that's got to mean something. I guess. I don't know. I really don't care. Honestly, I could care less about a check mark. Whether it's one you get just for existing or one you have to fucking pay for. It's just fucking clout. That's all it is. But I mean, hey, if it means anything, at least you know it's me. So yeah, I'm on there, and I'm not sure about this, but I had been considering possibly doing some streaming again at some point in the future. Whether it's for Joy Charge Gamers or maybe some streams on just, from just me. I'm thinking about maybe possibly doing some Gmod stuff on Twitch, maybe? I'm not sure. Or just on YouTube, honestly. And either of those could be, worth something. But it would have to be for, like, short stuff. I wouldn't be doing, like, big project stuff on there. Maybe just, like, posters if I feel like it. It would be fairly chill. It wouldn't really be anything that's like required of me. It's just something I want to do to like keep up with you guys and just do some things. Maybe I might even do like requests or whatever, just to do some goofy stuff and so on and so forth. I want to make this fun again. So to open up the possibility to stuff like this, I feel would be a great way to kind of like ease my way back in. And of course, again, Joy Charge Gamers is always another thing. In fact, I'm actually kind of planning a little something for that, but that's something you could pay attention on that front. So yeah, but anyway, with that being said, this has been the resolution of 2026, and it's also, again, it's the last one. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why am I getting emotional right now that this is the last of an update thing, that an obligation? Am I getting emotional over an obligation? What the fuck? There's no because there's like no reason for me to make updates like these again. I'm trying to do everything I can for my own benefit, and I'm feeling emotional and just like moving away from something like this. But yeah, this is gonna be weird, but it's to take care of myself, and I do hope all of you have also been taking care of yourself, because I'm not going to address the elephant in the room. I think it's more productive to prioritize ourselves rather than things that we can't fully control. So all I can say is that I hope you're all doing okay and doing what you can to take care of yourselves this year. I know things are rough, but believe me, the more you take care of yourselves, you will thank yourself later. But in any case, just you guys keep trucking on. So, with that said, this has been Director Brian. This has been the resolution of 2026, the last one. And yeah, if you guys want to keep up to date with me, I mean, if you're already here, I mean, your chances are you're probably still subscribed. But if you haven't, and you're just spotting this right now, and you want to keep up with Gmod stuffs, just some goofy stuff here and there, click on that subscribe button or the follow button, regardless if you're on here on YouTube or Vanillo. I'm going to be uploading this to both. And if you like this, click like. I don't know. I mean, I don't care about the algorithm and whatnot. It's just like, I'm just doing this because I like doing it. So, yeah. Fuck, these outros suck. This is what happens when I don't do a script. I can never do a proper outro. So, yeah, this has been Director Brian. And I will see you all next time. However that may be, whenever that may be, you'll all know. Farewell, and much love to each and every single one of you. Take care of yourselves.